It's very well played. What a result. These are the great days, aren't they, Martin? Man City, the champions here, and not just beaten, but really well beaten. 5-1.
Yeah, it was a top game, top performance, and yeah, with the fans, the atmosphere, and in the end, the score sheet like that is, can't be better, so very happy.
Kai, how did you do it?
Yeah, I think we managed to press them quite well. Didn't give them much time. I mean, still they're a top team, and sometimes they beat the press, but I think our energy was good. We used our chances, and at the end, I think it was a good game.
So you two are absolutely key to that press, leading that press. What is key to getting that right? You know, like going, but maybe not going too early, luring them in, that kind of thing?
I think it's the timing, you know. I mean, we train it a lot of times, and I think it's not only us two; it's everyone. I think when we push and go to the defensive players, everyone needs to push through, and I think the energy there is very important. And obviously, we are the first ones to press, but the rest of the team, they're doing it excellent as well.
And of course, it all started with you two, Kai laying on your goal for you, Martin. Just a word for Kai. I mean, you all love him. You can hear the crowd love him. How important is he to this team?
Yeah, massive impact again today. You know, you see everything he does. He score again, assist. He's always there. You know, with and without the ball, massive impact. So yeah, top player. So yeah, good to have him in the team.
Yeah, pleased to see the goal go in, obviously. But I mean, I won't go into too many history books, but you've had to wait a little bit for the goal.
Yeah, yeah, it was about time. It was good, you know. And after we didn't stop, we just kept on going. And in the end, I think we got what we deserved, and yeah, it was a good one.
Okay, lovely, confident finish for your goal. How did you feel seeing that go in?
Yeah, it was nice. I think I was a bit frustrated from the chance of the first half, so I thought to myself, I need to score one. And when I saw it going in, obviously I was very happy.
Did you just, when Martin was talking about you, did you just say not enough, something like that when Martin was talking? Just as Martin was talking about you a second ago.
No, I said it's enough because he was so positive about me.
Yeah, you're quite a partnership, you two, aren't you, Martin?
Yeah, we have a good connection. You know, we understand each other. You know, I know where he wants the ball and where he wants to move, and yeah, intelligent player. You know, so it's good to play with him, and yeah, not just him, the whole team. I think we have a great connection. You know, everyone, and we know each other so well now, and yeah, you can really see that on the pitch.
Well done, guys. Brilliant.
Thank you.
An outstanding result that makes it 9 down, 1 to go on this Premier League weekend, that indeed started with a 7-0 win for Nottingham Forest. The leaders Liverpool winning again. David Moyes' Everton 2, Southampton, Fulham and Wolves all getting 3 points. Earlier today, a huge win for Spurs, 2-0 at Brentford. Another defeat for Manchester United. That's 7 at home in the Premier League this season, 2-0 to Crystal Palace. And the 5-star show that we've just witnessed here for Arsenal against Manchester City. We will, of course, bring you the Monday night football, which is Chelsea, West Ham, and Final Word, and a transfer deadline show on Monday for you as well. Well, that win for Wolves yesterday is huge in terms of that 2-point cushion. Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton still 10 points from safety. Yesterday, Everton went above Spurs. Spurs have gone back to 27 and gone above West Ham as well, and just 2 off Manchester United today. At the top, Arsenal had to reduce it from 9 to 6. They have, and in spectacular fashion, having played a game more than the leaders Liverpool. Manchester City, the champions, stay in that 4th, at the moment confirmed, final Champions League place. A lot of fans inside the stadium, the music's still playing. And why not? Because when you get a result like this against a team like that, you have to soak it up and enjoy it, right?
Yeah, it's very much what the stadium needed in respect of where Arsenal are going and how we're playing. The narrative kind of goes a little bit from feast to famine all the time, and you're looking at the team and what they're trying to do, and they're constantly trying to get better with everything that's gone against them. They're still right amongst it, and I think a performance like this against the City side that seemed to be looking like they were coming out of the doldrums a little bit is a magnificent performance. What a fantastic performance.
What does that do for Arsenal's self-belief now in terms of the timing of this, having seen Liverpool go 9 clear, not just to beat City but the manner in which they did it, Michael?
Well, exactly. All of a sudden you look at it, don't you, and think, right, well, Arsenal have still got to play Liverpool. Liverpool have still got to play some tough games away in the Merseyside derby. Next is not going to be easy. There's only 6 points between them now. All of a sudden, you just think, could they? They're in some form. Going into this game, they were in brilliant form. And that performance was as good as it gets. Imagine what the feeling is amongst the club. Not just the first team, not just the fans. Imagine the academy. There's a 17-year-old kid curling a ball into the far corner. There's a left-back that's just played one of the best games I've seen from a left-back all season, who's only 18.
Who's a midfielder?
I mean, and he's scoring with his right foot. I mean, the whole club will be absolutely bouncing after a day like that, and they've just got to keep that momentum going forward. Listen
And
to
imagine
all the fans
playing to the crowd
Wrighty
when
as well.
the Ian Wright fan club's watching us as well.
No, it's not the fan club. This is what it's about. It means everything to us in what's going on with our manager. Our manager gets a lot of stick. He's trying to build a team that can challenge these teams like City, like Liverpool. We've seen what Liverpool are doing. And all you've got to do is put in performances like this. So as in Liverpool now, if they do slip up, Arsenal are ready to take advantage. And that's what we need to do. Be ready to take the chance. And that's why we need to take them chances some of the times.
Yeah, they're now on the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League since Mikel Arteta came to the club, Joe.
Yeah, excellent performance today and an unbeaten run, but ultimately they're just trying to put pressure on the top. Today's a great moment. I'm sure they'll take a lot of momentum from it, but Liverpool, I think it'll just be hurting Arsenal, the fact that they've chased City down now. That was who they've had in their sights this whole time. It's who they've had their eyes on. They've turned them over here. They look like they had their number. They had the belief to beat them. But then to just have Liverpool, I know, look, we're saying Liverpool have done nothing wrong. They've done absolutely nothing wrong. They've put in a great performance yesterday at Bournemouth. They keep taking care of business. But Arsenal can feel good today, and I'm sure they will.
That's the heartbreaking
He's
thing.
playing to the crowd.
Oh, he loves it. Doesn't he? Let him sing to the crowd. And he'll keep talking.
We'll carry on our conversation, Wrighty. You go and talk to your people.
The heartbreaking thing for Arsenal is they must have started this. We've got Manchester City in our eyes. If we can beat them, we're going to do it. And the heartbreaking thing, as I say, is they're absolutely ahead of City.
They keep breaking boundaries, but they need to break the number one boundary. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
But in terms of belief, in terms of an injection in confidence, if they needed it, that they can compete with the very best and do it, as I say, in that manner today, what does that say?
Yeah, we're talking about a City side that's kind of like coming out of a little bit of a poor spell, trying to get themselves going, made a couple of signings, they're trying to gel it all together at the minute, and I thought that obviously Chelsea, if they won today as well, you start thinking, okay, we're starting to see some stabilising, but that result it's made us all like, where's that come from? But like, you have to say, the way Arsenal continue to play, they put the pressure on, they kept the pressure on City at the back, on Phil Foden, giving the ball away, kept the pressure on them, didn't give no chances to Erling Haaland, even though he scored, and they kept it tight. It felt very tight. It felt like they had to earn every single thing what they tried to get today, City, and then we took chances. Win games.
I just want to put this into context today. That is only the second time that a Pep Guardiola side has conceded 5 goals in any competition in his managerial career.
Yeah.
That's what Arsenal have done today.
Yeah, but Steve, I agree with that, and it is a big moment, but City they've took some big results this season, 4 at home to Tottenham.
Yeah.
This is not City who are cruising high at the top of the league. This is a City that a few teams have felt it. You know, I was away at Brentford. They never laid down at 2-0. People aren't scared of Manchester City at the moment.
But this is an Arsenal side, Joe, where people were saying, and we were talking right at the top of our show today, can they score goals? Can they finish the chances? Can they beat Manchester City playing like this?
I agree, and full credit to Arsenal today. And the thing that really struck me, like I say, wasn't the 2-1, wasn't turning it around after 2-1. A deflected goal can happen. Partey is a bit of a hopeful shot, hit Stones' back. It was the fact they wanted 3. Then they didn't want to just sit on 3, they wanted 4. And at the end, they're having a party and they're scoring the 5th. That was the most impressive thing for me. So they really grew from this game.
Yeah, City didn't have a shot since the equaliser.
No. As Wrighty said, they beat them in all areas, really. They didn't look like landing a glove on Arsenal today, right from minute 1. I was so impressed with Arsenal. And if they keep playing like that,
what impressed you the most? What impressed you the most? Because we were so close to the action here. I mean, the speed of the play and the strength and the pressing. But what impressed you the most, or perhaps surprised you the most today about Arsenal?
Yeah, I think their attitude and their belief to it, really. In that, I mentioned before the game, they've only beat 2 teams this season in the top half. You know, you go back over the last few years, they never beat Manchester City. Manchester City always beat them or they draw.
Yeah.
You know, in the big games, that might just have broken the shackles now. They can take on the champions and absolutely blitz them. And now they shouldn't be scared of anybody that comes to this place, or for that matter, wherever they go in the country.
I think they've already, when you're talking about playing here, especially, the crowd's ready to be like they were today. I think that on many occasions we've seen, again, I'm repeating myself a bit, but you need to take those chances for you to get comfortable in the game and give you that energy to keep working at what you're doing. You get that next goal, like Joe was saying, you go for the next one. And then you'll see even teams as good as City, they end up, you demoralise them, and then you just keep finishing them. And that's what we haven't done enough of in this season, particularly, missing a lot of chances. And if we could take them, we could probably do that to most teams in this league.
Right, do you think that Kai Havertz goal is a huge message for Arsenal today? The fact that obviously that narrative could have been groaning and moaning, you know, missing that chance at 1-0, going 1-all. It was only a fourth goal, but it was the fourth goal with the attitude and the composure that he took it.
It's funny because me and Mike was saying, you know, Mike, obviously the chance that we had when it was 1-1, and it was an easier chance, if we're going to be totally honest. And he missed that. It's like
1-0, that was 1-0.
Yeah, it was 1-0. And when it was 3-1, you're in a different headspace.
Right.
You know, he actually came back, Joe, cut inside someone, and then had to curl it over there. Whereas when he was there, he just needed to get it on target on the left. And sometimes it frees your mind up when you've got to go through when you're 3-1 and when you are 1-0 down. You know?
That's a really interesting point Joe's making, though. At 3-1, we've seen a lot of managers bring on extra players, make sure, game management, see it out. There was none of that from Arsenal today. The hunger, as he says, was there to go and get more.
Smelt blood, didn't he?
Sorry to interject. Usually we're very close to it, right? And it wasn't Arteta, you know, with how animated he can be. It was the team.
Very good point.
The team wanted it. Martin Odegaard, when he pressed, he didn't just run.
Yeah.
He ran, slinging his arms back like this, saying, come with me. Declan Rice and Partey were so tidy today. They will not get a mention, but they were excellent in just backing Odegaard up and freeing him up to really put the pressure on.
Yeah, you know, we spoke before the game as well about the goalkeeper situation and that Ederson, you know, you'd possibly lose that ball over the top into Haaland's feet. And that could have played a part. That could have given Arsenal a little bit more impetus to go and press. But I just think that the way they did press on that back four, the way they nicked it twice in the first half, scored the first goal, should have scored the second, and not killed the game off, but should have scored the second, all of a sudden it gave them so much confidence and energised them. And even in that second half, they couldn't pass out at Manchester City. They could always pass out, but they just couldn't.
Yeah. But the thing is that when you start to see it working, you've got the goals, what you're supposed to get, and then you're looking at a team and you're watching them slowly go into themselves like City. That's what happens. And so then what happens is you just get even more confident. And what's happened in too many occasions, Arsenal have missed the opportunity to get into that situation. They got into it today and really punished them.
The other little detail as well, Wrighty, I feel, is that going, let's say, playing that ball over, beating the press and playing a longer ball into Erling Haaland, it doesn't necessarily wash against Arsenal. Their centre-halves are so strong, so big, so aggressive.
There was one particular moment you turned to me with Saliba, wasn't there?
Yeah. I'd hate to play against him. I mean, it was a heavyweight contest, don't get me wrong, but Erling Haaland's, he's not the greatest at holding the ball up. His game is quite rough. Of course, he scores goals and everybody knows he's one of the best, most lethal strikers in the world. But his general play isn't unbelievable. No. And when you've got that power and that aggression, 2v1 against you, he's got no chance. So even if they miss the midfield and flip it over into his feet, they just bully him out the way. Yeah. And no matter what Manchester City did today, Arsenal had an answer for it.
And you know what, as well, what happens with that, it happened to me a lot, is that when they know that sometimes you're a little bit lacking a bit of confidence in that first touch to hold it up to link the play, they come all the way with you. They'll go all the way. So when it goes into Erling, they'll just be right in his back because they believe that it's going to bounce off of him. And a lot of the times it does. And then when you're able to do that, you could get straight back into them.
I think.
And what a statement that is from Mikel Arteta's side against the reigning champions who've won it in the last 4 seasons, but the crown has well and truly slipped from Manchester City's head. Thierry Henry, that is some statement. Is that Arsenal telling us they are right in this title mix?
Yes, in the last 30 minutes, I really liked it. Gary said it, you have to play like the whole game.
What was different in that last 30, Thierry?
I don't know, the desire is kind of weird because we went 1-0 up and then after we're pretty passive, then it goes to 1-1 and we score that goal. Whenever we go forward and we try to play higher, it is very difficult to play us. And then after that, obviously, Lewis Kelly scored and then we all know what happened, but you have to play like that all the time during 90 minutes. And when we do, we are difficult to stop. But I've been saying that, like I said to you, I've seen that so many times this year against City. Maybe not the amount of goals that they conceded, but how passive they are at times on the counter. But you know what? Let's enjoy it, because it didn't happen often. And I'm sure, as you can see, Odegaard and everyone at Arsenal is enjoying that. But having said that, Liverpool are 6 points ahead with a game in hand. So let's carry on working the way we did in the last 30 minutes.
But suddenly, a big thumping wing, goals from two teenagers, and everything in the garden looks rosy, Jamie.
It's a great day for Arsenal. I think a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Football, I was talking about Arsenal. I said they're still lacking those statement results that you think a title winner would have. But look what's happened in the last week. Going to Wolves, going down to 10 men, coming away with a 1-0 victory, and then absolutely just demolishing the champions, Manchester City, in a game that looked in the balance. You know, early on when they go 1-1, they get a little bit of luck to make it 2-1, but then Arsenal look a completely different team as soon as that goal goes 2-1. Before that, there was a little bit of caginess, something I didn't really like first half, I must say. But what happened here second half in terms of the atmosphere and what we saw on the pitch, they're going to need that, I think, from now to the end of the season if they're going to wrestle that title back.
Given where Manchester City were, is it actually a little bit sad to see them like this, particularly in that second half?
Yeah, of course it is. The drop-off has been massive. I think the lack of control, the lack of structure. Thierry mentioned it briefly there about the goals they're conceding. It was 3 against Feyenoord after being 3-0 up. Get beat 4-1 at Sporting. You go to PSG, get 4 there. And it's just, I can't believe my eyes when I'm talking about defensive work. And people can talk about injuries. The team today was good enough to get a result. And the balance between the defence and the midfield and up front is not there at this moment in time.
But that's what I'm saying. As soon as the game becomes intense, Man City can't cope. And that's why I was so surprised Arsenal were like that for the first hour. As soon as the game got faster, Man City can't cope with it.
Welcome back, Matchday Live on the road. Arsenal lead Manchester City by 1-0 here at the Emirates. At half-time, we had to wait just 103 seconds for the breakthrough. Martin Odegaard's first goal in his career, and what a way it came about.
Yeah, it was. You know, I'm sure we'll go through it, but like it was good closing down. I'd say poor choice maybe from City, the way they're trying to play out, but Arsenal are close. And I think you've seen there with Havertz, you know, maybe a lack of confidence in squaring it, because I'm looking to pass that. I'm looking to score myself, I should say.
Yeah, a couple of options there for John Stones. He decides to go inside into the danger zone, really. Declan Rice there with a lovely first-time pass. I think Havertz, as you say, Wright, he's looking to pass that. Yeah. Of course, you know, make it easier, but, you know, a cold-blooded striker would be shooting there. Listen, he made the right choice in the end, however.
Righty, look at this. This goes back to the 2-2.
Oh, that's what's happening now. That's what they've started, you know, the ball in the head. You know, this is it. But you know what I was saying to Joe, as long as they can shake hands at the end of the game, bam, see you the next game.
Now, that was relevant to the point you were making before the game about Arsenal getting right in Manchester City faces.
Oh, they've pressed so well. And I think they would have waited to see how Manchester City started, and they just looked like they were second-guessing themselves. John Stones on the ball, looking for options, looking to free Kovacic up. And then when Arsenal have pressed, when they've smelt blood, they've just cut the angles down and made it so difficult to play out. It's a difficult ball for Akanji to receive. And the moment he fumbles it, Trossard reads it. That's so sharp from Declan Rice.
Brilliant.
Reading that ricochet, and a big moment for Martin Odegaard. He said he wanted those moments, didn't he, Wright? There's his moment.
Yeah, he's done it. Just being up there, but I think the closing down's been great. Whatever people say about Kai, he's made the right decision there for us. He's not an out-and-out striker. He's doing a good job for us. And I think that getting us 1-0 up is what we needed, just to get in the game and settle down.
Now, he mentions Kai Havertz from a very similar situation. How did he not make this 2-0?
Well, I'm referring to that first goal, Steve, because he did great for the first goal, don't get me wrong. But I can guarantee you this one thing. He was looking for players in this situation as well. Arsenal do great. He's desperate to be able to pass this. He's not a cold-blooded killer, I'm telling you. Ian Wright would never have, passed the first one. This is great closing down, and we'll move on to it in a minute, Joe, because you think he could bounce that off.
I just think it's so intelligent. And the lack of options that City have got. Ortega plays that pass. The only way a straight pass is a good option is if you've got a bounce pass option. He hasn't. He's only got to rip it out to Núñez. Declan Rice reads it so well and allows him to slide, tackle, press rather than having to just shuffle from behind and see which option he's going to take.
It's such a big moment in the game, that miss. But as I say, I think for the first goal, he's so happy he's passing it. I think he's wanting to pass it all the time. I just don't think he's got that killer instinct in him. The other thing on that closing down I thought was great was the angle from Declan Rice. If he closes down on the other side and wins the tackle, he knocks it out to the right.
Yeah.
But when he goes on the blind side of him, he knocks it into the middle where the danger zone is. Just have a look at this, the angle from Declan Rice here. If he comes this side, camera side, then he can only win the ball and pass it out to the right back. But that actually knocks it into the danger
He's so
zone.
intelligent. He reads Kovacic has only got one option, because I think it's Trossard. No, it's Odegaard who he's covering Ortega. And it just means that he can go blindside and gamble. When you're 1-0 up, you can afford to gamble. If he does actually put his foot on the balls and turn, so what? He's got options back there.
Now, Joe, at the other end, what about David Raya? And one save in particular.
Do you know what? This is excellent. This is excellent. It's so hard to do. And he earned that little bit. That you make that save, you think, oh, I've got a whole hand on this. I need someone. And then it looks like Haaland's got that little skip off the bar. But he's been excellent this half, making such important. And he's had very little to do. He's had 3 or 4 huge moments. That is such a sharp save, so strong.
And he got a touch on this one as well, Whitey, from Guardiola.
Yeah, he did. You know, but like I say, that's a great save. Joe,
honestly,
you know where he's got himself down there.
He's so agile because his weight goes to his left-hand side. Tiny little deflection. Oh,
man!
But he's just strong. He's in a great mode at the moment. His balance. He's forward. He's making big saves for his team. He's absolutely just on the edge. He's loving it.
Arsenal in front thanks to their lightning start. The goal after 103 seconds. Thierry, is this a case of Manchester City falling right into the Arsenal trap?
Yeah, you know Arsenal always try to put pressure against any team at home, and here it's a bad first touch from Akanji, but what I like from Trossard, he doesn't commit. He stops a yard away to make sure he was going to see if he can stop that ball, and Kai Havertz, I think we talked about it off air, lack of confidence, looked for a better option than what maybe he felt.
Is he actually in a better position to score than Odegaard?
Yeah, but when you're lacking confidence, maybe the other guy is a better option. And by the way, when you score, you're right, so he was right. But Leandro Trossard does ever so well once again to stop at the right time. Kai Havertz feeds Martin Odegaard, and obviously 1-0. But I like the way Arsenal did start that game. Then I think we did retreat a bit too much after that.
They had the chance to really put City away. 3 of Arsenal's shots have come from City errors. It feels unlike them, Jamie.
Yes,
or perhaps sort of late.
Arsenal are the best. We saw this a lot last season at winning the ball in these situations. Declan Rice's pass on the first goal was fantastic. But I see another goalkeeper play that pass. I see this every weekend in the Premier League. The reason you're in goal is because you can't pass that well. So these straight passes, Declan Rice was as good as anyone there. But that has to be the game. He has to score that.
Is that evidence of why he chose to pass in the first chance?
Yeah, but that's a lack of confidence, but also a lack of quality. Almost every centre-forward in the Premier League would look at a situation like that and fancy themselves to score.
It means that City are still in it while there's only 1 goal, Micah. Do Arsenal have David Raya to thank?
Yeah, they do. Really good set piece from Mamouche in spinning corner there, but it was a really good save from Raya. Guardiola with a header. You just see on this angle here, gets really good contact, but the reaction from the goalkeeper has been outstanding. See it here, there. Lovely.
What about Haaland's reaction?
I mean, maybe he could have readjusted himself, but I think just because in the moment he might think it's going over. I mean, he's trying to stay within the goal, but gets a little bit tangled. And then Savigny at the back post, Arsenal in that low block, just gets a shot off there, and he just readjusts himself. You see it better on this angle here. He's going one way, takes a little deflection, and manages to readjust himself. Really good save.
I think Arsenal just got to be a little bit careful. I said before the game, you don't want this to be a slow game. I know they're in front and they've had a great chance with Havertz, but Manchester City are controlling this game and it's at their tempo. That anything could happen in the box, as we've just seen there. I think they've got to try and make this an energetic game and make it more difficult for Manchester City to bring the ball to the edge of their own box.
Feels like City are building